Hey guys, Brent and Beth here again. Hope you're doing well. Wanted to jump on this week and talk about a topic that Beth, you and I think is kind of interesting, and it is middle of summer. So in the upper Midwest where we're located, traditionally the busier time of year. Winter is when we're slower typically up here. But the thought or question comes up when it's a little bit slower in the market than what we're used to, and we've both been in the business for several years, and it's a slower summer than most years have been. Do you, introvert and extrovert, but do you grind a little bit harder and do more work? Do you take some downtime and kind of recharge the batteries, or what is the right answer there? So Beth, I know you came up with the topic. I thought it was an excellent one for today. Give me your overall thoughts when we talk about downtime and things like that. What do you do? What's your mindset going into a market like that?
Well, I think that the question was posted somewhere else where a really top producing agent, one single agent, was doing, it was either 20 million or 40 million in volume a year. No matter whether it was 20 or 40, that's amazing volume for a one person, um, show. And this person had said, like, I'm volume is like in half this year. And just, you could kind of hear the freaking out in the post. And we're all probably been in that position here in this last year, where it's like the volume doesn't compare to maybe what years before did. And so it's like, do you just keep grinding and grinding and grinding, or do you work hard and then realize, but if things are slow, it does me no good to sit at my computer and scroll the internet. I might as well go home and relax or spend time with my kids. And I don't necessarily know what the right answer is, but I just thought, if this person mentioned it and is struggling, and I look at that same thing and go, yeah, that's me too. I feel like sometimes I'm checking the box of go into the office and be productive. It's like, let's just talk about it. Like, what are people doing? What are you doing, Brent? When maybe you don't have any client meetings necessarily, but like, what are you doing to like keep moving forward? Or are you just saying, screw it? I mean, this summer doing what you want to do.
I think everyone would love to hear like, just screw it and do whatever you want to do, right? But I think there's two things that come to mind. The first being, it feels like when we're super busy, we tell ourselves, well, I can't take any time off now because it's so busy. I would actually be costing myself all these opportunities and income and transactions that are just there for the taking. And then when you go to the other end of the spectrum, when the market, I think we'd say we're in right now, it's a grind, it's tougher. Then we tell ourselves, well, I can't take time off now because I need to put in the work to make sure we're busy, right? So it's like it's never that happy medium where it's just as busy as you'd like it to be, and loans and transactions and buyers and sellers just come walking in the door. That's not going to happen, and I think we have to be mindful of that. But then I look at like, if we just focused on what we can control, because we can't control interest rates, we can't control lack of inventory necessarily, and there's a lot of things that are not in our control, but we can control how we spend our time coming into the office or working at home and actually putting in the effort on the things that actually move the needle. And I'm very guilty of that. Like, if I come into the office, no matter what I do, and it's busy, and I look back at the end of the day, was it really productive, or do I just feel like I checked a lot of stuff off my list and maybe it wasn't even important, or I felt busy and was putting out fires and things like that, but it really wasn't proactive activity. So I think focusing on how you spend your time and maybe trying to knock that out right away in the day, and winning. I think there's a program or a book called Win Before Noon, and it's basically just focused on doing the things right away that need to be done, and then you've got the rest of the day to kind of relax, or get that other miscellaneous stuff done. So that's my take on it. Beth, what do you think when you hear that?
Well, I think for me, I'm probably a lot like you, where it's I have to move the needle a little bit every day, just to like make myself feel good about the business that I'm running. And I think for me, I'm also the type that would rather show up in the day early and really just get to work and grind through what we've talked about before on this platform, which is like my non-negotiables. So like doing my birthday cards and doing my check-ins, and my letter of the week this week is B's. And so it's like checking in with everybody with the last name of B. And I have some pop buys to do for those people that are B's. And although that feels like maybe it's not necessarily moving the needle as much as I want, because it's not going to bring me a paycheck in 30 days from now. It is my non-negotiables. It is what's proven, what's made me successful in my business, is keeping track of my sphere and keeping in contact with my sphere. But then I kind of have to just like take a deep breath and be like, okay, it's 2:00. I've done everything I need to do at the office. Maybe I have showings in the evening, maybe I don't, and maybe giving myself that permission to go home at 2 and be with my 2 children that are off on summer break and old enough to not need a babysitter, but probably need their mom around a little bit. So it's trying to find that kind of balance of putting in the work, but then also like letting the mindset go of like, okay, Beth, you put in the work now, like just be, and it's trust that you've done what you can do.
I think when you've been in the business a little bit longer, it gets easier to see. Like I have this thought every single January, February, where it's like, it is so slow. It's 20 below zero in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. There's snow on the ground. Maybe interest rates are higher. Nobody wants to buy. And you get that feeling every single year. And my wife gives me a hard time because she's like, you say this every year. And then spring hits around here and people get excited, they get the cabin fever, and then houses start moving again. So it happens all the time. But I think sometimes we live in the day to day. And to your point, like the things we do right now, we're not necessarily going to receive the reward from those in the next 30 days. But the consistency of it, I think, is the key. Just figuring out what you can control every day, putting in the effort there. It might be phone calls. It might be pop buys like you're talking about. It might be handwritten cards. It could be video meetings, whatever. If you just keep doing those consistently, it's so easy to just skip them because you're, having a down day or you don't feel like it for that day, but just staying consistent. And then knowing at the end of the day, when you go home to be with your kids, like I did what I needed to do. I just know over time it'll pay off, and kind of having a little bit of faith in the future that things will work out if you do the right stuff. So I know it's not like there's no aha moment there, but it's maybe just a good reminder for all of us, because we're all in the same boat and same market, that the consistency over time is, I think, really what pays off.
I think that's definitely something I need to hear, and probably, hopefully people that are watching it needed to hear that too. It's like you put in the work and then you just have faith that that all of that work will provide. It doesn't always happen right away. But I'd love to hear from everybody else that has watched this video. Like, is there anything unique that you have done? Or are you sitting and stirring and kind of like mentally going crazy like the rest of us? Like, well, what more could I be doing? Or what else should I be doing? If you have any good tips and tricks for us, I would love to hear that as well.
Great point. So there's the takeaway for the group. If you've got any little mind hacks or things that keep you on track, even through maybe a difficult market, share them with the group, put them in the comments. Then a good reminder, if you've got other friends in the industry, introverted friends, like all of us, loan officers, real estate agents, whoever, share the group with them. We'd love to keep building the community, and reach out to Beth or I if you've got any questions, or maybe even an idea for a future topic. We'd love to hear that as well. So hope everybody's having a great week, and we'll talk to you again soon.